remember how to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, check this out. Welcome to, guys, I know it's been a minute. So let's do it this way. Welcome to season 5 of What's Good America. The road to WrestleMania edition. You knew this shit was coming, even if you didn't know this was coming. All right, listen. It's been a little. It's been a bit of a time between episode last and season 5. All right. For those of you who forgot, I am the chocolatey, mahogany man himself, the myth, the legend, the 5-time WCW heavyweight champion of the world, C. Turner, and my tag team partner, the I-95 WCW Cruiserweight 205 Live hardcore champion himself, James Big Game Madison Walton the third. What's going on, big dog?
First of all, what's good, America? It felt good to say that.
It felt good. It sounded right.
What's good, America? That really felt good. Let's just start there. I don't even know how to really describe this moment. As we are starting season 5, that's crazy.
We're in full syndication right now, dude.
We had 100 episodes 3 seasons ago. Let's keep it 100.
Feel like we've outdone Full House already. We're in a point where if this is like Family Matters, this is when Judy goes upstairs and doesn't come back down.
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at. We over here looking at Cheers territory. You know what I'm saying? Jefferson territory.
We trying to catch up to the Simpsons, baby.
Hey, Modern Family. Yeah, the Simpsons, South Park. That's what we're looking at being. But the beauty of the evolution of the show, Chris Turner, is I actually got a nap. So did my wife. So did my 2 children. And I think the beauty of us kicking off season 5, usually it takes a cataclysmic event. I had to try to use a college word. I stuttered it.
I liked it. You pulled it off.
Through it.
You pulled it off.
A literal 7.9 on the Richter scale happened in the world of sports and pop culture.
That did happen, folks. That did.
You have to tell America literally what happened right about maybe, I feel like it was about 8:35, 8:40 your time. Tell them what happened and why today is the day. March 2nd, 2025. I'm dating this show, so they know. This will probably go up tonight. That's how
that happened that everybody has wanted to happen, that should have happened, has now happened at the perfect time. Because for everybody who wanted it to happen 10 years ago, 12 years ago, hell, initially, now that it's happened, this was the right time. The heel has turned. The toe wop, the heel has now turned. The GOAT himself, and it's not self-proclaimed. It's not something somebody boasts about. It is widely accepted and acknowledged. The GOAT, John McIntosh Cena, is now a bad guy with The Rock. Listen. And I feel like that's like when you drop like the ice cream, the cherry, and all that on top of it, on top of the sundae that you already had. You put another sundae on top of it because you got Cena as a bad guy, but you got The Rock with him.
See, and what I was hoping you was going to do was literally tell them the conversation we had. But yes, that is the lead of this show. America, we talked about it before we came on, what exactly we're going to do. That's why we just said this is going to be the road to WrestleMania show. We're going to touch on all the things that we love, that we know that we're seeing, that are coming. And obviously, the majority of this segment that we have, before the big fella's got to go to work tonight and do his thing out there, really revolves around that. But I literally played phone tag with this dude for 30 minutes last night. We don't ever do that unless there's something going on. We got a special guest. We're trying to make sure we coordinate computers, you know what I'm saying, setting everything right, you know, go teleport to the command center to go talk to Zordon and Alpha. Like, I mean, that's usually when I have that many back and forth phone calls. So I'm gonna tell you, America, we for 30 minutes we played phone tag because he was busy getting ready for work last night. And the only thing I called him, I said, "Did you see the chamber?" And he said, "I saw the last 30 minutes." I said, "Cool." Because I
Good enough.
literally told him,
Good
I
enough.
called him to go, if you have not seen the chamber,
Don't get on
do
the
not get on the internet until you watch the chamber. So that's the lead into this. That's what we want you to understand. Like, I listen, some of the great storytelling in, let's just go ahead, since we talked about Cena and Rock, I think since their big WrestleMania, I mean, the stars that were in these matches, the matches we saw with the chamber that's leading to other things. Um, let's just get into it, man. Welcome to the Road to WrestleMania show, which will allow us to dip back and forth into this pocket
Yeah.
of What's Good America. As you can hear my badass kids trying to come through the door. They over here trying to bust through like Randy Orton did on Kevin Owens last night.
So with that being said, like what's known is known. Listen, before we even get down to like the nitty gritty of it, I want to touch on the Street Profits right now because, ladies and gentlemen, they are
Not
in the
out Street
kitchen.
Profits.
They are in the kitchen and they are cooking right now. Like there hasn't been a tag team that's been much better over this last little stretch anyway. And even with DIY having the belts, even with Judgment Day having the belts, them being out, like it still doesn't matter because the whole time it's been all right. Well, whenever the Street Profits get healthy, they're going to be the ones that who run with the belts for God knows how long. Because the only other group that could possibly do it would be the Usos. Right now, they're on solo runs, which I really hope they give Big Jim a belt. He deserves it. Outside of the Yeet Meister getting the title from Gunther, you got to hook Jim up too because Jim's worked his ass off.
Yeah, shut. I mean, dude, they deserve it, man. I agree with that. Um, because Jimmy Uso's mic work, I think, is very.
Oh my God, I love Big Jim. Big
I think
Jim and Big
there's
Jim
only
on the
one
mic.
other guy that's probably had better bits and has done more with less in the last few years, and that would be obviously the goat of goats, Ron the Truth Killings.
By
Uh,
far. Yeah, it's
but
induct
yeah,
him
yeah,
already,
Big
bro.
Jim and the
Induct
way
him
they've
already.
propped him up, the universe has gotten behind. Obviously, both those guys. And I think Jay Uso winning the Rumble is definitely
It's
something that we
crazy.
should talk about because that's a part of the road to WrestleMania. I'm glad you actually kind of mentioned him and talking to the Prophets, and we'll get back to them. Um, Jay Uso winning the Rumble was amazing. If life wasn't so deafening crazy for me, that was worth the show right there because that is some crazy storytelling by Trips to pull the trigger and go, "You're going to be the guy out of this final." You know Jey Uso was going to be in the final six. There was no
Yeah,
question about that.
yeah.
And we've seen a lot of those guys that have gotten to that final six. I mean, there's a time when Dolph Ziggler was hanging in the final six.
Yep.
You know, obviously shout out a future Hall of Famer like Sheamus, final six. I mean, there's a lot of guys you can name over the years.
Yeah.
Alberto Del Rio. I know we're not really supposed to mention that name when we're talking about
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
but
Can't
just
talk
certain
about
guys you always know they're just hanging right there. And Jay Uso was going to have that spot. LA Knight's in that conversation where
yeah.
he's been bubbling. It's a so when you saw McIntyre and then Priest and then Roman and then Seth and then Punk go,
Like what the hell?
you're like, all right, hey, big match, John. We're good with getting it this way. Like,
Exactly. Because everybody was good. All right, well, yeah, okay. Cena and the Uso will put on a good 5-10 minutes, and then Cena will pull the miracle out and do what he does, like be Cena and win it.
so I think it has to be said, CT, like the Rumble set up the chamber
Yeah,
and the Yeet Master, the Yeet Meister, the King of Yeet, Sir Yeet a lot.
Shout out to Pat too, man. Shout out to Pat with all the
You
nicknames
know what
and
I'm saying?
the verbiage of the year.
You
Certain yeets a lot.
know, all yeet, 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 you know. I mean, yiggity yeet, you know,
Oh my God.
the ambassador of yeet. I mean, Jay Uso needs me in his corner because I'm over here doing this. I will be buzzed by the last 20 minutes of the show, America. But so I want to give a big shout out to Jay Uso, and I'm looking forward to his match with Gunther and however they decide to do that, because Gunther is he's such an enigmatic guy to me.
Yeah,
Get where he kind of is falling right now. It's just impossible with the stuff we'll get into with
yeah.
Cody and all of that. But that match is going to be spectacular because that storyline has been
Growing.
phenomenal.
And it's sad, and like you, and pretty much
It's
like you
been going
alluded
on.
to,
It's a long form. That's been going on for months.
the fact that it's such a big story and is playing second fiddle to everything that's going on with Cody and everything else. But that story has still been beyond consistent because, and I promise you, we'll get back to the Street Profits, but that story has been so consistent of, hey, listen, Jay, go fight Cody, bro. This ain't what you like. It's he was saying it in much a stronger Eastern European accent, but hey, go fight Cody, bro. Because if you come over here, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
And Gunther be whooping ass.
Hey, go fight your people, bro. Because if you come over here, you're gonna have a problem. So go fight your people. Go try to win that title. If you try me, I'm gonna hurt you. And it's like, okay, all right, Gunther, I see you cooking right now. I feel that. And then he's like,
And
you know what? Matter of fact, come fight me. You ain't learned yet. Come fight me.
I'm gonna go ahead and go spoiler for you on that. I know it's early. Normally, when we do our
We
WrestleMania
try to
show,
wait.
we have to, but Jay Uso's gonna win that title.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because I already know what's being set up. It's gonna be Gunther and Goldberg for SummerSlam because that's gonna be Goldberg's retirement
Farewell.
match. And that's what's gonna prop up Gunther to go back and get a belt.
I'm with that.
So got that out the way. I do want to get to the profits because it was a point of emphasis by
Yeah,
my co-host. So I would like him to really go into the things that he's seen and that he's loved with a tag team that we love. And obviously, in my opinion, a guy that whew, I want to start with Dawkins. Let me get my
yeah.
Dawkins part out the way.
Go ahead.
Because I love Angelo Dawkins, and Angelo Dawkins has a phenomenal moveset, and
Mm-hmm.
he himself can hold a belt.
Yep.
And I'm not going to ever be the guy that's going to place guys and be that type of fan, be that type of Mark fan, because we are Marks. Like,
Very
Will,
much so. Very much so.
that Angelo Dawkins can't main event WrestleMania. There's like, I will never say that about anybody.
No.
Because if you said that, I mean, you'd be so wrong because whoever thought Jey Uso was going to get a world title match
There you go. There you
on the
go.
biggest stage. So that's why you don't do that. Because Angelo Dawkins can talk just as good as anybody
Which we're
and has a
finding
great
out,
move
right?
set, like a great move set. And these guys have been heels and they have been faces and they've been tweeners. Um, but we're kind of in that era right now where I think it all connects the dots to things that are going on right now. And I think when you're looking at his partner, you know, it's been one of those things that's been talked about for a long time, like,
Years
his
to come.
window. And WrestleMania could be one of those things to where it's like, what about another time? These guys have been talking about splitting for years.
Yep.
I thought the New Day did theirs brilliantly, the way they've handled it to
Heard.
make themselves. So there's a lot of ways to go, you know, because with Montez, man, you see, like, since NXT, I've seen champion.
Heard him. Yeah, he's starting him. Like he's money. He's a blank check.
Saw that phenomenal move set, and then he added to 25 pounds, and you're like, oh well, now he just
Hmm.
this dude is built like literally. I'm trying to think who his body type is that's held that belt because he's still moving very well, but he's at 240. He
Yeah,
just it's like that perfect black young Randy Orton.
there you go.
That's his body type right now. Like Randy Orton, right out of Evolution, into that evil Randy, into that ball headed, evil, the great, like
The kick you in the face, Randy Orton.
that Randy Orton. And we're going to give him some time. But I think when you go back and look at the Randy Orton legacy
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
it was so like disrespected in his time, but not by me because I loved it. Like I was like, oh,
Uh, like the legend
this
killer, the
dude
punch
is
you in the face.
oh, he was so healed. He was. I mean, okay, America. This is what happens when your
Yeah,
boys
it's been a
haven't
minute.
been doing nothing but talking on the phone and texting with each other and sending Instagram reels instead of creating them. We get to go in all sorts of windows, but
All
go
right.
ahead,
Real
man.
quick.
Take off on the Street Profits.
All right. So my deal with the Street Profits, yeah, you can split them up, and with Montez putting on the extra weight, here's another thing we're not supposed to say. He looks like a Vince guy. Like he's big. He's he's good on the mic. He's good without the mic. They're good with the belts. They're good without the belts. They're good with the manager. They're good without him. Like they are the ultimate team, and also you can split them apart, and they're still like the ultimate guys that you can split up and bring back together, back and forth as much as you would like. You don't have to, and I'll admit to this. I was really a big thing. Like, all right, they need to bring Bianca with them, and then they can just kind of do the trick. You don't have to. Like, it's a no, no, no. Okay, they're married, fine, whatever. They don't ever have to do anything on screen together because Montez is good by himself. He's good with Dawkins. He could be good with Bianca. Like they are a blank check, and right now the tag division is good. It's not great because DIY isn't doing what everybody thought they should be doing right now. Like they're good, but they don't get me pop. So it's like, Judgment Day. I think, especially with JD getting going down, I'm really interested to see where they take this with Judgment Day as far as like their tag team. I feel like Finn is on his way out because we at least need to see the demon, even though I know he said he's not going to be up for doing it too much. We need to see the demon kind of by itself, being its own entity right now because we're missing that kind of theatric in wrestling right now. But as far as the tag team division goes, there's a lot of good tag teams in it. I like Pretty Deadly. I think they could put on a good match. They don't need the belts, but like they're not bad. DIY, they're good, but they got no pop.
Pretty Deadly needs the belts because they're true heels. Heels
Oh,
need
very much so. They're heels, but I don't see them with the belts yet. Like I think they can go rival back and forth with somebody, be a number one contender for a little while. I don't think they get the belts honestly until next year.
they need belts. If it's me, they're so comedically good.
Very much so.
They're so slimy. Like we need more slimy heels, which is going to continue to play into the other things we'll talk about that just came from the chamber. But no, I feel you, man. Keep going on your
But
run.
yeah, so and you're not even putting the Street Profits in the heel category right now. They're not faces from how their promos have been. Like they're in that. I don't even want to call it a tweener. They're just in that stage where it's like they are saying everything that the fans are saying, and they're just recording it. Like, listen, the only reason we don't have the belts is because Dawkins got hurt. The only reason we don't have the belts are because we decided we didn't need them yet. We want them now. Like they're saying everything that the fans are saying now. That works two ways. One, that gets you more popular because you get people like me and Walt, like, that's what we were saying. But then two, it brings the casual viewer into it like, damn, they do look physically better than every other tag team. Maybe they should have the belts.
Can I say this about them too, and just throw this into your thought process? I think they're the type of tag team that needs the belts, and then you need to probably either on Jello or Tez. One of them enters like the U.S.
Yeah,
title tournament or
yeah,
an intercontinental tournament, and one of them wins that title. And then
I
that
agree.
can lead to some good story time friction about it. And maybe you could do something that I've never seen before. I've never, and maybe it's just I've ever seen. Like I've only been around since 1983. Flair was probably on Title 10
Oh yeah,
when I
yeah,
was,
yeah, he was already a double.
shout out Ric Flair. 10 of 16
Yeah,
that are recorded, even though he said there's 23 title reigns. Um,
Memphis wrestling
but
in NWA. Yeah, good.
you could see something crazy to where you could see like the tag. We've seen the tag team guys. That's been a great device to make single stars. But what if you use that tag team device to where one guy goes, well, if I win, I'm taking your belt and I'm putting these belts away. When have we ever seen that device used? Like, I want that Intercontinental belt. And if I beat you, then we have to forfeit these titles.
Right, I'm with that because it's different,
And
and
then
that's
if I
the
beat
difference.
you, do I have to just stay in this tag team, or does it come to a point where, all right, I shake your hand and we hug because we went after it, and then I Shawn Michaels kick you and throw you in the mirror at some point against the big time guy. Then we do that turn there and you lose the belt. And it's I don't know. It's just a way to write that story with
There's a
them.
bunch of different ways you can go with them, and I love it because like the Street Profits are they're it, bro. They want the smoke. And I'm with all that. They can have the smoke because they deserve it. I love, and I won't round robin this because I want to get to the chamber and I want to run the show terribly long.
Well,
But
yeah, let's do the women's chamber first and foremost. Um,
just get to the point where everybody get to what everybody wants. Like it's yes,
but yeah, but I want to yeah, if we gonna touch on tag titles, we gonna touch on the women's chamber.
go ahead.
Shout out to probably Tyson Kidd is still back there. DJ Wilson probably back there still doing his thing.
Yeah,
He is now the Fit Finley of his time.
yeah,
Um,
I can see that. That's a great comparison.
so everything that they've produced when it's come to the women, I mean, the opening to that match when she came out there and beat the brakes off of Naomi, because what they did is they satisfied the even marker fans than us. They've been waiting for what is she going to do? Who's she going to hit?
Yeah,
They knew that Liv Morgan wasn't the need for that,
no,
because just because she tagged Naomi, now everybody gets to feel good or feel right about what really happened. And obviously, we are well aware of what's been going on with her because she is going to eventually win the title, probably in Las Vegas.
I don't doubt that.
She's going to win one of those belts. And she is still, and everything she did, I want to give her credit for this, Chris, with Jade Cargill, and then keep moving on through the rest of the ladies. Everything she did in that beat up was so clean, and
Yeah,
she looks like the most. It's the most China thing I've seen.
she's a more athletic China,
She
and
looks.
that's a hell of a compliment first and foremost.
I mean, the end game is her and Rhea Ripley at some point
Is
because
it?
she makes Rhea Ripley look human, and Rhea Ripley is not a human.
Oh God, no, no, no. Yeah.
So the end game is that
Here's my two
match.
cents on it. I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on it. I can see somehow, some way, and this might be just me marking out right now, but I can see somehow, and this is now I'm saying it out loud, like now it's a stretch. If EO figures out a way to take this from Rhea, let EO run with it for a little while because she deserves it. But Bianca already knows that she has this shot at WrestleMania. Before that time, Jade beats the shit out of EO. Not to the point where she squashes EO, but she gets that belt. And now the WrestleMania that I want to see, the black on black crime, is I is I want to see Jade. I want to see Bianca like face to face. You gonna side with this chick after she did what she like? I want to see that black girl magic come out of nowhere and just honestly, damn near headline both nights because you got
Write
two
this a different
powerhouses.
way. This is how I'm going to write this and predict this just for this year's. I like where that's at. This is what I think is going to happen. For the record, this is me going, I just love technology because I can't wait for this to get clipped up. All this stuff's going to get clipped up, America, and one of us is going to be right on one of these things. And then What's Good America just becomes a wrestling podcast, and we're just fine with that. Give me an excuse
Perfect.
to watch everything about wrestling and make my
Perfect.
wife roll her eyes for the rest of her life. I'm good with that too. Listen,
I live with that.
this is what I think is going to happen. Um, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley is been in the cards for 2 years.
Yeah.
So Io Sky is going to give what they need on Monday Night Raw, which is a great main event Monday Night
Hmm.
Raw match. They're going to go probably 20, 25 minutes. It's going to be a great story.
Yeah.
They both know each other very well. Phenomenal chemistry. They're going to do some really good things. Rhea Ripley, until otherwise noted, will wrestle in WrestleMania for the next thousands of years. Like she has become, okay, we're talking about Becky Lynch, we're talking about Charlotte Flair, Bailey's in that conversation,
Yeah.
Sasha Banks when she was in the WWE. Rhea Ripley is on that level,
Yeah.
has been for the last 4 years. So you don't have WrestleMania without her in some way because
No.
she's very captivating in everything that she does. So you get Bianca and you get Rhea at Mania. We're building that up. This is what I see happening. I see at Mania somehow there's some Jade Cargill shenanigans that happens in that match. Rhea needs to retain. And then you're going to have the blow off with Jade and Bianca, either maybe at Money in the Bank, maybe it's some of those things that happens and it just continues to dirt itself, but maybe that's a SummerSlam match where they're going Womano Womano. We don't know who the face is, who the heel is.
Right.
I would love to see them just both be their true. I think people forget Bianca Belair has been a face for so long that she's one of the
He
best
was the
heels
original
I've ever
heel. Yeah.
seen because she was phenomenally heelish with Hunter. Um, but I think somehow something happens, but Jade ends up keeping that belt on Rhea, or maybe she helps Bianca win. I think Jade Cargill has to be a heel.
She's better. And not that she isn't good as a face. Naturally, like her from her physique to like even when she's cutting a promo as a face, it's almost heelish how confident and how arrogant she is, which I love to death, by the way. But
I just think she has to be a heel. But
stand up
she
debut, by the way,
she's
because she
very Rhea Ripley-ish in that because she's so imposing and her move set is so crazy
and powerful.
and she can do wild stuff as she continues to get better and better. We've seen the stuff where she's had some botches. Just imagine if she pulls it off. You know what I'm saying?
The
She's
way
had some
you
botches where
feel
you're
about
like,
the way you feel about
yo,
Rhea is how I feel about Jay because in my mind, Jay can do no wrong, and she's night and day better than she was when she was with AEW.
100%.
And like her, like I said, her move set is such of a she's just like she's so powerful. She's the Brock Lesnar kind of this, even with more moves. She's the young Brock Lesnar when Brock was doing backflips and all this types of shit. Like she's the young Brock Lesnar, and I need to see her on the biggest stage. So I like where you're going with the fact where she interferes somehow. Some
Rhea versus Jade is that's the money.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, I think you're going to still see the Charlotte Flairs. That's still money. Like
Becky is still
we're
lurking
getting these,
somewhere.
we're getting these phenomenal physical specimen of female superstars. It's allowing Becky Lynch to
To
come
right.
back if and when she does, and she goes back to being underdog Becky, and Becky can take some losses, and that's going to be big for her. So, and then also shout out Roxanne Perez because if we don't shout out anything that Booker T has created, we're not doing our job as Black wrestling fans. I love everything about her.
Very
Shout
much so.
out Bailey for keeping the division together. And
Flash. Let me
this
throw my
Liv
Flash
Morgan
legend.
Alexa Bliss thing that's
Oh,
going
that tension.
on.
It's tension.
Alexa Bliss, first of all, I'm just a fan.
Yeah. Not even in the perv way. Just a
Just
fan.
a fan.
Just a fan.
Her work's gotten better, and however this thing's going to go with the Wyatt Six once she eventually goes, like her character work and everything she does, and just the women's chamber, I thought was just magnificently done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Trinity being a team player because that was a whooping she took. She took a whooping. Doesn't none. I was watching that like, ooh, I know all that hurt because that is a strong.
You can't act everything.
No, I know that hurt. So shout out Naomi. All right, got that covered. Listen, can we
Kevin
talk
Owens.
about Kevin Owens?
Please. Please.
Kevin Owens needs a title,
What title?
a world heavyweight championship at some point. This dude,
So who does it? All right, so fine. Let me you threw that out. Let me throw this back. Then who does he take it from? Who doesn't have a
I
title then?
don't care. He's such a phenomenal heel.
I'm not taking that from you, but who is he taking a title from? Jay Uso.
Bingo. You just answered it.
Here's why you're right, and here's why you're right.
Kevin Owens deserves an 8 month run
You
as a
know, do you know how much he would get booed if he beat Jay Uso after Uso spent so many years as a tag team champion, building his way up, being from the loud colors to being day ones to the Uso penitentiary, to finally stepping out on his own, to going against Roman, to going away from Roman to coming back to Roman, to finally getting to the one-on-one match against Gunther, winning the whole damn thing, and to have KO beat him. Do you
Kevin
know
Owens is the
how
perfect
hot he
he
would be? White hot heat if you gave KO this belt after you gave it to Jay.
fantasy booking. Like I said, I think Jey Uso needs to go over at WrestleMania. Like I like it's time, like Gunther. There's some things I think he can continue to do character work wise.
He doesn't really need a belt either. Let's be
And
honest.
I think it can lead to the Goldberg retirement match SummerSlam. Because you don't want to have the Goldberg taking the belt. If you take the belt off him,
No.
then he can maybe take some losses because it's just time for
Right.
that character. Because I think he actually is not too bad on a microphone either. I think he's
No.
respected. I just don't know if fans really know. NXT knew what to do with him as a fan
Yeah.
base, when he was there. I think the main roster is still trying to. We like him, we don't like him, we love his style. I mean, the chops.
Oh, the chops are amazing.
But let me tell you how Kevin Owens gets the belt. So Jey Uso wins it at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Has the rematch with Gunther. So we go with the Gunther confidence thing, loses the next pay-per-view.
Okay.
Money in the Bank is going to be right around the next month and a half.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens wins the Money in the Bank. Jey Uso's the working heavyweight champion, so he has to defend the belt
I
at
see
Money in the Bank.
where you
Disaster.
are
Kayfabe injury
going
somehow.
with
Owens cashes in the night. Owens holds
here.
that belt
I
until the
see.
next WrestleMania because that's what you do with heel champions.
I see it. I love it. And that's
That
why
gives him an 8 month run, and he just does. He just. I'm sorry. His work since that Reigns Owens Rumble match where Heyman hand Owens has been phenomenal. And he doesn't want the Intercontinental title.
no, he don't know.
I think the US title, we got plenty of young guys that are coming
Yeah.
through. Carmelo's tricks on his way. You got some guys that are coming up.
Trick
Uh,
Willie, baby.
um,
Man, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Tiff Stratton's dude, who I like him. You got a
Kaiser.
lot of guys that can do well with that belt.
Kaiser, baby.
So I'm good there. But you give Owens a solid 6 to 7 month run, leading him to WrestleMania, and the guys he can make that match, him and Sami Zayn. I
That's
hope they become friends again. So in 5 years they break up and make it a retirement match.
it was a classic match, dude. From beginning to end, I've always been a Sami Zayn fan. Like I feel like he's even with his mic skills and the 5-star matches that he puts on, like he still doesn't get as much credit as he deserves because Sammy is great comedically, timing wise, physically.
And
His
guess who beats Kevin Owens for that belt? Sami Zayn.
and that would make Sammy red hot, heated in the back.
Because he's about to be chilling out for that ass whooping was
Yeah,
crazy.
he'll be done for a couple. Like you won't see Sammy for at least 2 months,
Yeah.
which would then put you, yeah, okay. Now the time is kind of lining up. That would, yeah.
Fantasy Booker. Like, I don't know shit. Maybe somebody will like this clip, but that's just me when we put out the scenario. So
No,
enough
and
stuff. Can we just talk about the men's chamber?
not without saying, thank God the Viper is back.
I mean, Randy Orton, that's another, or that's another way you can go. Orton can beat Owens for the title, and that's number 15.
Which I feel like in the long run, Orton is the one who has the all-time record.
He looks phenomenal. Randy Orton's one of the few things I like about St. Louis. Put it to you that way.
The comments and opinions and the thoughts of St. Louis, Missouri are all of James Madison Walton III and not of mine at all.
Seriously, it's all my college. I can name everything I like about. It's all my friends and all my ex teammates that live in that town and Randy Orton. That's it.
And that's it.
Because Tom Sandoval has not been a good look for that city in the last few years. Let's just be real about
My
it.
God, man. Get
Hey,
to get to
what
the chase.
has been happening in this house, Chris? There's nothing but estrogen. You don't think Vanderpump Rules hasn't been in this house?
Get to the chamber.
Tom Sandoval wrecked this house. And that is a damn shame. Shout out Lisa Vanderpump. Men's chamber.
That might have been a first. Anybody shot down Lisa Vanderpump?
Hey, man, listen, we going to shout Lisa Vanderpump out in this house.
Vanderpump Rules, baby.
Hey, I'm shouting out Lisa Vanderpump. She is the shit. Men's chamber.
Men's chamber.
Drew McIntyre. You know what's so beautiful about this entire show? I want to put the belt on so many guys. That's another
Yeah,
guy.
you
I
literally
love
you
Drew
put the belt
McIntyre,
you put the
bro.
belt on like 4 different people already.
Dude, I need 7 heavyweight titles. Drew McIntyre should be a champion. This dude is in his bag right now.
Oh yeah,
And he's one of those, this is such a boom period that I'm enjoying for the sport that we've loved, Chris, because we've had some dead times.
yeah,
You and I as fans, and when you have all these guys, this is what we grew up with and what we felt.
yeah. When you were
In our teenager,
oversaturated with talent
you just felt like anybody could be the champion. And I
at
think
any time.
that's the greatest thing. And I love him and Priest working together. Um, and I really do. I'm a fan of Damian Priest. I can't quite figure out where he's in his best lane, but these guys are all such tweeners. It's
Yeah,
really incredible, and I love that. And I think as he continues to work and does the things and gets the most out of himself, I think those guys they're so big and strong and athletic, man.
yep.
So I just love the way they've been setting that angle up. But Drew McIntyre, just everything he does, the mic, the facials, his work,
His version of the
everything he
Python.
does, man. Like he is just thank God Drew came back, bro. Like
Yeah,
it's been the returns that have happened in the last 6, 7 years have just been
needed.
phenomenal.
They've been needed, bro. Like
And
it's
he needs his flowers. And I know that he's not a big fan of the internet community, even though I'm pretty sure that's one hell of a shoot. I do like the six guys in those in that chamber. I'm just fans of all of their work
Yeah,
and what they're bringing. Logan Paul,
ultimate heel, ultimate heel, just from being himself.
he's fantastic. Great move set, getting better with timing. Takes an ass whooping, can talk. I just hope that he truly is showing deference in that locker room. If you're doing that with the guys that are around you right now, bro, like you can have a Shawn Michaels
Yeah, yeah,
mid 90s heel run, dude. Like you got all of it.
love that too.
You got all of it. He's
Just
got
all that.
everything about him that can do that. Love him. Let me just keep throwing praise. Um, Seth Rollins just continue to be the anchor of the damn.
Yeah, everybody left, he stayed, and he's showing why. Like he can carry the company. Like he has carried the company.
And I love how I think he's just embracing that he's not a there's he can work both styles. And I love that. It's not even so much in what they say, I think, anymore. I think it's just the way you work in the ring. Like if you gotta do some healer stuff here or there, man, just do it, bro. And
Because
I'm just
regardless if
another
he's
guy
a
that I'm a
heel
fan
or a
of.
face, that stomp is a heel move.
It is.
It's
It
a heel.
really is. So I dude, just love where they're at. They have so many guys. I just want to give all these guys titles, man. And it's not because it's not even like, oh, you deserve it. You're long. Like, it's just like, man, these dudes are legit and they can all talk and they can all give you 30 minutes.
Yeah, facts, facts.
Go
What?
ahead and continue to apologize about your thoughts about my guy because you have come a long way. Now, I'm not going to make you go Oval Office. I ain't going to go Oval
America,
Office on you, but
America. This isn't my give me a minute, but hold on for a second, America. That'll be the alternative version of give me a minute. Is America, hold on for a second. Check this out. I will admit that I was wrong about Phil, about the Chicago made punk. The second city saint, some dare call him. I was wrong. I was under the impression, and it
no,
was just because of his body of work.
sorry.
I was under the impression that, hey, and this is true to a point, like CM Punk's best years are behind him. Yeah, physically, but his storytelling and the way he is on the mic, and like his mic is carrying some matches for him because the build up to it, and then they got the nerve to throw the mic in front of him right after a match, which I don't know if there's anybody better right after a match to hop on a mic than CM Punk. Um, his his 2 3 minutes on the mic right after a match are ridiculous, and the fact that you still have this altruistic favor that Paul Heyman owes him, that is just literally just hanging right next to the WrestleMania sign. Because you all we not you, we all know what the favor, we think we know what the favor is. It's something about main eventing WrestleMania. I have my 2 cents that I think, and then I'm gonna pass it to Walt. My 2 cents, he's going to figure out a way. He wants the main event WrestleMania, and I don't see that happening with there already being two champions, blah blah blah. But I see him, I see Seth, and I see Roman in a 3 way, which could steal the whole night. I could be wrong. Walt, what you got?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What did the last 7 to 8 minutes of that chamber make you feel?
As
When
far as what?
when it was just him and Cena. What did that make you feel?
It brought back that moment right before Punk took his belt, his ball, and ran. It brought me back to like pretty much the best of like the Vince times. but right before Punk took his ball and went home.
You know what I saw, Chris, when they got to that part of the chamber when it was them and they really got to have that time because they love each other so
Yeah.
much.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That to me, I was literally calling the spots as it was going. Like if my wife would have been, and it was so beautiful to see these guys, I think to me, put on a clinic still,
Yeah.
even though, Seth and Drew are in their era, obviously, because they were up
Yeah.
and coming and were there, obviously, when we were talking Prime Punk, Prime Cena, because those guys were basically the world champions as these guys were coming up. But they put on a clinic of how to really do old school wrestling. Um, Not even so much old school wrestling, but tell stories. Like I was calling every spot when those guys were doing it. And it was all callbacks to all their stuff. The only thing
Yeah.
missing was CM Punk hitting Cena with a pile driver. That's the only spot they missed. And you watch that 5 minutes of them just doing their thing and doing their submissions and GTSing and FUing.
F you and
Hey, we're getting to it so we can get the hell up out of here because I know we're running out of time. But that's the point. I'm like, just that 7 minutes. That's what I'm going to ask what it made you feel. Because I felt it. I was like, man, it was pure. And you just don't appreciate how much those guys did together, because of just obviously, I think to me, I think CM Punk, I don't disagree with how Seth Rollins feels. I
no.
think CM Punk has said some of the things I understand, but he said I did what I had to do. It was legal for me. That's why I had to do that. I was advised to
Yeah.
tell everybody to go to hell that was in that company. Like I couldn't talk to you guys.
Yeah.
I couldn't spare a mole. Like, and you hope you get to some place like that, which I do really feel in my heart will happen because everything that we've seen and it talked about with Becky and excuse me, Rebecca and Ashley. Like we've seen it. We've seen them go through the worst of times
Yeah.
and then realize, man, life's short. Let's understand the circumstances that make things happen and be cordial. We don't have to be the best of friends, but we can handshake and be
We
cool.
can make this work.
So that's what I hope. And I mean, that's just for me, and I get it, man, because sometimes you don't like a mug. You don't like a mug. So I love that part. And I love that we're getting Rollins Punk at Mania. Seth Rollins, this is why he needed his flowers a little bit.
Yeah.
That stomp to put Cena off, like that was just that 8 minutes of wrestling was phenomenal. The
It's
camera work was great.
here's
I,
why the camera work was great. So
Phenomenal. It was amazing.
because you could hear once this oh my god. You could hear once you could hear Seth on the outside. Like, I hope you die. I hope you die. It's little stuff like that for like and it stuff like that isn't for the casual fans. Stuff like that is for us. Like stuff like that is for the guys who've been watching wrestling since they've been 4 or 5 years old. Like it's just the that twinkle of it's still real to us.
Yeah,
And like it shows like, all right, I know this is a bit, I know they're putting on, but man, I needed to hear him say that.
it's
I
so personal.
I
Like
needed
those
that,
guys,
I
and that's
needed
what,
that passion. I needed that personal just to come out like, I hope you die. Because if it was a real fight and these two really didn't, yeah, dude, I hope you die. Like, I don't care anything about you. Like it was perfect. Like the moves were great, the mic was great, but like the camera work last night, and the cameraman don't get enough praise. But what they did last night from the women's chamber to the men's chamber to KO match, everything worked.
yeah. So this
Just
chamber match, just based on the way it won, how it won, it is basically a tie for first with the original chamber, which is
yeah.
still to me the greatest chamber of all time. Because again, you had all those guys in there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is the stars that are in it. And when you got that many world champions, that original chamber, when you're talking about Booker and Shawn Michaels and Trips, Chris Jericho, Rob Van Dam, as Rob Van Dam was on his
Yeah.
ascent at that point. And Triple H telling the story about how Rob, not on
Botched the
purpose, but
yeah.
crushed his throat and he still made it through that match and did all those spots. And I think Kane was in that too. So you had all those world champions. I think Kane
Yeah.
was the sixth guy. That's what you saw. You had a chamber of 5 world champions and one of the most popular guys on the planet. It's been shown that he is one of the best, um, athletic young talents, you
By
know,
far.
and great heels right now, I think, in my opinion, of his time, because he is really hated, um, purposely and on accident purpose, whatever that is. Your thoughts
I got nothing.
on this guy?
Dwayne Johnson. Sir, your flowers have been handed to you several times by both gentlemen on this show. And the long term, the storytelling that's going on right now is beautiful because you can go down. The story is so perfect, it can still take 4 or 5 turns and nobody will be mad at it because you can. I mean, I'm trying to calm down and not trying to stretch this out because I know we got to wrap it up here soon, but you can still take a bloodline turn from this. You're still going to get the Roman and Rock match somehow, some way out of this. You can like it's the new corporation because technically, I mean this in the best possible light, and anything that may come out about whoever, I didn't know nothing about it. He's turning himself into like the corporate Vince McMahon of this situation, where like, all right, it's me, baby. I'm the boss. Like you're fired. Like you ring that bell and you're fired. You count to 3 and you're fired. Like he's turning himself into Vince McMahon. And to do something that Vince never could do, which is have like Cena right here. Oh my God. Rock, I salute you, sir. I'll leave it at that. Sir, I salute you.
There's just a lot of things to it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I want to shout out Sam Roberts, who's one of the great guys in loving the sport, talking about it. And I want to give Sam a shout out because literally within like 3 minutes of watching I said, I got to stop watching it, Sam, because I got some shit to say live. And I don't want to be a copycat of a guy that I appreciate in a moment like this because I saw what I saw with my own eyes. But it took my breath away. And I had a smile on my face when I saw it. Um, and everybody's going to say the same thing. So I'll put it out there too. Because when Bash at the Beach happened, I was 13 years old.
Yeah, changed my life.
I mean, obviously, we know that's considered the greatest turn in the history of wrestling.
And it's not even close.
So I'm going to give Sam credit because Sam said, I believe this is greater based on the fact that this guy was and has never done anything like this 22 years. And I do agree with Sam, and I want to give Sam credit because he's the first guy that I've heard say that. Um, what makes this so special to me and what I will say about John Cena and other things that I've seen, I'd like to put it with other turns that have been so truly, truly, truly special. Let's not lose sight of Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. That's what this felt like. When Steve shook Vince's hand, even though it was loud and It's still hated. Steve hates it. The impact. I remember, what was that, 2001? Yeah, I don't think my mom paid for that, even though I had earned a college scholarship. I'm pretty sure I went to somebody's house and saw that live. Probably my boy not seen, but let's not forget that. Um, it just took, I just was watching my wife and she just looked at me like, I don't know what's wrong with you. But I just said this was a moment in time. And I'm grateful for what's about to happen. And it's almost like the world feels it. I saw Ric Flair already posted, I don't want John Cena to win 17 because Ric Flair already knows it's happening.
Yeah. So
John
then,
Cena beating Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania because of everything you just said before me, Chris. The Rock does the same thing he did in the match that he was involved in is brilliant television. And now you got so many different ways to go. Cody loses everything. Are we building Cody up? Well, is Roman the guy to go do this? Is it Seth? Maybe this is the reason you take the belt off of Gunther and he's mad. Well, your cousin is the I mean,
you could go oh, you could bring KO like it. All right.
Randy Orton beats him. Kevin Owens. Maybe it was all about him at the end of the day, getting to this point where he could stick it to the fight, like Drew McIntyre's and Logan Paul. Maybe they all like, yeah, we fell out, but we back in because it's the company. You know what? I'm just gonna get into it. I know we run out of time. America, I never go first, but this is where I need my uninterrupted time because I feel like this is going to be the clip
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
that relaunches the show. So, Chris, if you don't mind, I will start the segment. America, give me a minute. It needs to be said, and I'm going to stop moving so my face can be seen. And it's going to be said by me. And it's going to be said to everybody that's in this space that has an opinion when it comes to this guy right here. And I said it in the show years ago. And this is the time to do it now because we have the technology where this could be isolated. Do not ever doubt or say anything about what this guy is doing. This guy has been the most selfless superstar in the history of the wrestling business. It is not even close.
Nope.
Has The Rock ever won the WWE title at a WrestleMania? No. He put Steve Austin over twice. He put John Cena over at Mania. He helped build Cody Rhodes' story just last WrestleMania in that tag match. So when Cody won, we all were like, man, it's amazing. So anybody, and I'm talking about the guys I love and revere, and they know who they are. To call this guy so selfish in this and that. This dude does not have a selfish bone in his body because he has put over John Cena, Stone Cold twice, Kurt Angle, Bill Goldberg, Triple H 1,000 times. Stop it. Mankind, the great Mick Foley,
The Rock
Ken
and Sock.
Shamrock.
The Rock and Sock.
And here he is, one of the richest, if not the richest actor in Hollywood, one of the most well-liked guys. Literally, if he said, you know what? I think 2028 is my year. I'm going to run for president and would win. He's that guy at this point. Enough with the slander about this guy. because he just delivered to you one of the greatest long-term story. Remember everything we were reading out of all our guys? What happened? And I mean, guys I love and revere, and I'd love to be on that show and look at them, a couple of them, and go, you guys should know better. And I think they did. The two that wrestled and have known him for years.
Mm-hmm.
Trust Triple H. Trust Paul Levesque. Trust a guy that loves this business. Trust The Rock. Trust them. They don't need it. They have lived the most charmed lives and wrestled in the most charmed era. Trust if he's a part of it, somebody is going to be elevated. His ego is just fine. Just fine. Apologize to The Rock on Sunday and Mondays when you're doing this show and you didn't believe when John Cena was punching Cody Rhodes with that Rolex and busting him open with it. When The Rock is doing throat slits from Bash at Berlin in October. This is the greatest of all time. And so is this guy. And so is the guy that's getting ready to have the most title reigns in the history. My new Mount Rushmore has been formed. And I got room for a fourth guy. American spin my minute. You on mute. You on mute.
I'm not even going to rebuttal. I'm just going to go into it because you were 1,000% right, and you put that together so articulately well that America. Give me a minute. Um, I would like to apologize for one of the members of this show. There's no need to say names. I feel as though for those of you who've been following us, you know who this is, who blamed a certain China flu on somebody being Puerto Rican with the masterful storytelling that's going on right now. I would like to wholeheartedly apologize to Jonathan Aloysius Cena the third, because
Yes.
what's going on right now shows that a man with this much decency could not have faked being Puerto Rican. He could not fake the things that he does because you can't see him in the first place. So if you can't see him, how was there a lockdown? How was there a coronavirus? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. You weren't Puerto Rican in the movie. You were just a great actor. Okay. Your storytelling is that good where I just assumed you were Puerto Rican. I'm sorry.
Oh,
John,
give me the
John,
hiccups, bro.
I'm sorry. So America, that's been my minute.
You literally gave me the hiccups. I can't even deal with you.
I'm serious though. Like,
This is why I don't ever go first. Because then I'm not surprised and get the hiccups.
just I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John.
Shout out to sponsors, man. Oh man, you always end this show the way it needs to be ended, man. Shout the sponsors out, man.
So a little bit different this time. Shout out to the Willis family because they're doing so much stuff now that it's ridiculous. They do bare knuckle fighting and they just still do fitness. They make smoothies on the side. They do meal prepping, everything. So shout out to the Willis family for pretty much loving us day one. I'm not gonna go into all the Willises. It's 1,000 of them. Just know that if your name is Willis, you live in Montana, you're probably one of them. So thank you first and foremost. Shout out to Rebel Coffee, one of our first sponsors. Like, shout out to them. Appreciate the love and support. Still don't drink coffee that much, but hey, I'm a gas station
Rebel
coffee guy.
Coffee, shout out. I now drink coffee because I've got infants. So please have Chris Turner come by and grab some things so he can send them to me so I can drink the hell out y'all on the show. Because I will gladly put you into a cocktail.
So shout out to Rebel Coffee. And shout out to the most influential sponsor we have, Chic Workwear. Because if you ever want a one way ticket to WrestleMania and have long term storytelling, you better be doing it in the Chic Workwear.
Love it,
With all that being said, John, I'm still sorry.
bro.
Seriously. With all that,
That's the best callback of all time.
with all for all the biracial babies who are tied to this show, for the absences, for the work, for being out of town and all that. We appreciate everybody who rocks with us. I promise you, season 5 will be live and in charge and done from exotic locations around the country. Because whenever we can get on, we're gonna get on and we're gonna go from there. But
Yes,
with that
sir.
being said, the same question that I ask Walt all the time, but I haven't had a chance to ask him in so long, I'm gonna ask him with nothing but heart tonight. James Madison Walton. I would like for you to just tell these people. I'm not even going to ask you. I want you to tell these people the name of this show and let them know that we will be back much sooner than we've been before after we've had these types of lapses before.
What's good, America?
What's good, America?